Alright, let's set the scene. It's 1942. You're a soldier on the Eastern Front, somewhere deep in the vast, unforgiving expanse of Russia. The temperature isn't just cold, it's a physical enemy. We're talking minus 40 degrees, a cold so profound it feels like it's seeping into your very bones. A cold that makes steel brittle, and men even more so. It's so cold your thoughts are freezing mid-sentence. Every breath is a cloud of ice crystals. Every blink feels slow and deliberate. Survival isn't measured in days, but in hours, sometimes minutes. In this moment of sheer, mind-numbing misery, you have one bright idea, a flicker of hope, a cozy little fire. Just a small one cupped in your hands to bring a whisper of feeling back to your fingers. Bad plan, a catastrophically bad plan. In the sprawling, featureless darkness of the Russian winter, that tiny flame doesn't just offer warmth, it screams your location to every enemy sniper, spotter, and artillery crew within miles. That little fire turns you from a soldier into a very obvious, very illuminated target. The brief comfort isn't worth the sudden, violent end it invites. So what did they do? How do you fight a war against both an army and the elements themselves when your most basic survival instinct, seeking warmth from a flame, is a death sentence? They got resourceful, they got desperate, they came up with some creative alternatives.
Welcome to the unofficial guide to not becoming a soldier cycle. That's right, a human popsicle in uniform. It was a real and terrifying prospect for millions of soldiers in World War II, especially on the Eastern Front, where General Winter was often a more formidable foe than any opposing army. Today, we're digging into the archives of human ingenuity and desperation. We're counting down the top 5 weirdest, most unexpected, and sometimes downright bizarre ways WWII soldiers tried to stay warm without lighting that fatal fire. We're going beyond the standard issue gear and into the realm of battlefield improvisation. Some of these methods are pure, unadulterated genius, the kind of thing that makes you marvel at the human mind under pressure. Some are, well, they're pretty gross, born from a place where dignity takes a back seat to survival. And one of them, as promised, involves a very personal bodily function that sparks a surprising amount of debate even today. So, zip up your parka, and let's get into it.
First, a quick science lesson so you know why these tricks are less crazy than they sound. Your body is a furnace, a constantly running, calorie-burning, heat-generating machine. At its core, it's trying to maintain a stable 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or 37 degrees Celsius. The cold is constantly trying to steal that precious heat. This happens in 4 main ways: conduction, when you touch something cold; convection, when cold air moves past you; evaporation, when sweat cools on your skin; and radiation, where heat just naturally radiates away from your body. Staying warm is all about fighting that heat theft. It's about keeping that furnace-generated heat in. To do that, you need insulation, stuff that traps a layer of air around you. That trapped air quickly warms up from your body heat, creating a personal thermal barrier between you and the freezing outside world. Think of a modern puffy jacket. It's not the material itself that's warm, it's the millions of tiny air pockets it creates. The soldiers on these frozen fronts didn't have advanced synthetic materials. They were basically MacGyvering insulation from whatever they could find, turning everyday objects into life-saving thermal shields. Now that we understand the why, let's get to the how.
Method number 1. The newspaper overcoat. This wasn't for catching up on the latest war news or reading the funnies. For a soldier in the field, a newspaper was a tool. Soldiers would take any paper they could get their hands on. Old issues of Pravda, letters from home, propaganda leaflets, and they would crumple it up and stuff it everywhere. Under their shirts, inside their trousers, lining their boots. Why? Because paper, especially crumpled paper, is a fantastic insulator. All those crinkles and folds create thousands of tiny, chaotic air pockets. As we just learned, trapped air is the secret sauce of insulation. It dramatically reduces heat loss from convection and conduction. You'd look like a walking recycling bin, sure. You'd rustle every time you moved, but you'd be a warm walking recycling bin. It was the difference between shivering uncontrollably and maintaining enough core heat to function. Fashion victim? Maybe. Frostbite victim? Definitely not. Number 2, the rock and roll heater. Now, this one cheats a little. You need a source of heat, but it's about making that heat portable and safe for the night. During the day, or when a fire could be safely shielded, soldiers would find a good, dense rock. Granite or basalt were ideal, and heat it up by the flames. The trick was to get it nice and hot, but not scorching. Then, they'd carefully wrap it in a thick cloth, a spare sock, or any fabric they had, and take it to bed with them. Tucked inside a sleeping bag or placed near the core of the body, that rock would act like a slow-release radiator, bleeding heat for hours. It was a primitive but brilliant form of thermal battery. But you had to be smart. You had to pick the right rock. A smooth, dense, non-porous rock holds and radiates heat evenly. But if you picked a porous rock, like sandstone, that had absorbed any moisture, well, when that trapped water turned to steam, you'd get a surprise geyser in your bed. And that's a different, much less pleasant, kind of warmth. Method 3. The human sandwich. This is exactly what it sounds like, and it's a technique as old as humanity itself. When you don't have enough insulation, you share. Soldiers in foxholes, bunkers, or tents would sleep packed together like sardines in a can. It was awkward, it was probably incredibly smelly, but my goodness, it worked. By pressing their bodies together, they dramatically reduced the surface area exposed to the cold air for each person and shared their collective metabolic heat. It's the buddy system, but for not dying of hypothermia. The physics are simple. 3 bodies huddled together have less total surface area than 3 bodies sleeping apart. Less surface area means less heat radiating away into the frozen night. The guy in the middle was the lucky one, the warm, toasty filling in the sandwich. The guys on the ends were the human doorstops, shielding the middle from the worst of the cold. They'd often rotate, ensuring everyone got a turn in the coveted middle spot. It was a pure, simple, and effective use of shared biology. Number 4 is a spicy one, literally. Some soldiers, particularly those who had access to it, would put pepper, like cayenne pepper, or other hot spices in their socks and boots. The idea wasn't to season their feet for a desperate meal. The logic was based on a chemical called capsaicin. That's the stuff in chili peppers that makes your mouth feel hot. Capsaicin works by tricking the nerve receptors in your skin into thinking they're being burned. The body's response is to rush blood to the area to cool it down. More blood flow means a temporary sensation of warmth. Did it work? Kind of. For a little while, it could create a noticeable warming feeling in the extremities, which are often the first things to suffer from frostbite. The downside? It was a temporary fix that didn't generate any actual heat. And if your feet had any cuts, blisters, or raw spots from marching, well, let's just say you'd be doing a new kind of war dance in your foxhole. The burning sensation would be excruciating. It was a high-risk, low-reward trick born of pure desperation.
All right, we've saved the most debated, and frankly, the grossest method for last. The urine controversy. There are anecdotal stories, and I stress stories, that in absolute last-ditch desperation, soldiers would urinate into a canteen or bottle and use it as a warm water bottle. Let's be very, very clear, this is a terrible idea. It's a pervasive survival myth that sounds plausible for about 5 seconds. Here's the science. When urine leaves your body, it's already cooler than your core body temperature, usually around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It will provide a brief moment of warmth, yes, but it's a rapidly depreciating asset. That liquid will lose heat incredibly fast, much faster than a heated rock. Soon, you're just cuddling a bottle of freezing liquid. And the biggest risk? If it leaks? Well, you've now introduced moisture into your insulation. A wet sleeping bag in sub-zero temperatures is a death sentence. You've gone from being cold to being cold and wet, which is exponentially worse. This is a last resort myth that probably caused more hypothermia than it ever prevented. Don't try this one. Just don't. Beyond our top 5, the well of desperation was deep, and the line between folk remedy and battlefield science was blurry. Some believed putting raw onion slices in your socks could draw out illness and keep you warm. Spoiler, it can't. It just makes you the really, really smelly guy in the human sandwich, and no one wants that. Others would try to waterproof their boots and skin by rubbing them with grease, animal fat, or even gun oil, creating a barrier against moisture. The point is, when you're that cold, for that long, you'll try anything. Logic takes a backseat to hope, and any trick, no matter how strange, that offers even a sliver of comfort is worth a shot. So, what's the verdict? The newspaper overcoat? Solid gold, a brilliant use of available materials based on sound thermal principles. The rock and roll heater? Genius. A simple, effective way to store and transport heat safely. The human sandwich? Uncomfortable, but undeniably effective. A testament to the power of cooperation. The spicy tricks? A temporary risky fix at best. And the liquid method? A dangerous, desperate myth that should be left in the history books as a cautionary tale. The real lesson here isn't just about staying warm. It's about the incredible and sometimes hilarious lengths the human mind will go to in order to survive. These soldiers weren't just fighting an enemy army. They were fighting physics itself, waging a constant, personal war against the second law of thermodynamics. And they fought it with whatever they had in their pockets, in their packs, and in their heads. It's a story of resilience, ingenuity, and the unbreakable will to see another sunrise.